At our live event, Timcast IRL Live in Austin, I was having a conversation with Michael Malice about whether or not we should ban TikTok. And it was getting really good, and some really important points were being made. And then Alex Jones got up and started screaming at the top of his lungs and then wandering around, and it kind of just derailed everything. But an important conversation was being had. Should we ban TikTok? I'm of the opinion, yes, we should. Take a look at this headline. TikTok's algorithm keeps pushing suicide to vulnerable kids. At a certain point, I think we have to recognize that our foreign adversaries who run TikTok probably don't want us to be alive anymore. And they are pushing weird, degenerate ideas, moral decay, and outright suicide to young people. Let me read a little bit for you and then talk about the banning of TikTok. More than a year after Nazca killed himself at age 16, his account remains active. Scroll through his For You feed, and you see an endless stream of clips about unrequited love, hopelessness, pain, and what many posts glorify as the ultimate escape. And then he did it. We should ban TikTok. Michael Malice said to me, no, we should not. Because you ban TikTok, that you're one step away from banning an AK-47. I completely disagree. I believe that it's possible to have a surgical approach to banning things. And let's entertain some other ideas. Why can't we ban TikTok? If we decide solely that TikTok is a bad thing and we pass a bill saying TikTok is a corporation, its subsidiaries and entities pertaining to its existing code base shall not be permitted in these United States. That's it. Surgical strike. Michael said his concern was they'll ban AKs. Well, then my response goes to child sex change surgery. If Florida says we are banning this, are they going to ban AK-47s next? So the issue is, I'm not an anarchist. I am not even a, staunch big L libertarian. I'm a somewhat libertarian, traditional liberal kind of individual. And I believe we as a people have a right to come together and say some things are bad. We don't allow them here. And that's it. TikTok is killing kids. It's destroying the younger generation and they're addicted to it. So here's where we are. If you have a nation that's addicted to drugs, are you going to convince that nation to give up the drugs? If you have a friend who's addicted to drugs, how easy is it to get them to stop taking the drug? Do you have a friend who's an alcoholic? How easy is it to get them to stop drinking alcohol? They like it. They're addicted to it. They won't let it go. Now, the problem is we have people who consistently vote for these things. It's crazy. TikTok is destroying their brains. And then with their atrophied brain, they're voting, creating cultural decay. Quote, take the pain away. Death is a gift, says one video pushed to the account in February, days before the first anniversary of his death. And another, a male voice says, I can't read that. Wow. I can't read it. It's a video where someone threatens to harm themselves and a woman says, cool. The feed looked much the same the days before he died. On February 13th, it surfaced a video of an oncoming train with the caption, went for a quick little walk to clear my head. 5 days later, Nazca stopped at the Long Island Railroad tracks that run through the hamlet in Bayport, New York, about a half mile from his house. He leaned his bike up against a fence and stepped onto the track. At a blind curve his parents had worn him out since he was old enough to walk. He sent a message to a friend, I'm sorry, I can't take it anymore. A train rounded the bend and he was gone. It's impossible to know why he ended his life. There are often multiple factors. But 2 weeks after his death, his mother started searching his social media accounts, just desperate for answers. When she opened the TikTok app on his iPad, she found a library of more than 3,000 videos her son had bookmarked, liked, saved, or tagged. She could see the terms he searched for: Batman, basketball, weightlifting, motivational speeches. And she could see what the algorithm had brought him: videos about depression, hopelessness, and death. We got to ban this thing. It is intended to hurt people. Dylan Mulvaney is one example. And people don't realize what they are being fed. It's scary. It's a scary world. There are certain things that I think should be legal. Many drugs, I believe, should be legal, even though they hurt people. TikTok does not qualify for that exemption because this is something that was produced by an adversary. Now, we can make the argument that China is also flooding our streets with other drugs and things like that. The issue is I don't believe that banning this substance made them go away. TikTok, however, is one specific thing that can easily be blocked. Banning drugs is very, very difficult. So the appropriate response may be a ban, but the penalty for having such a thing is you go to a rehab clinic, 5150 or something like that to help you get clean. TikTok, on the other hand, is a single thing that has a centralized source that we can actually stop. It has a range of IP addresses. We can just stop. Now, of course, they can make other apps. They can do other things. Sure. But this is one particular attack vector we can control. A surgical bill that says, TikTok, no, we're good. We're good. Otherwise, this could be your kid. Sad story, man. They say since TikTok exploded into popular culture in 2018, people have been trying to understand the short-form video platform and its impact on kids. Owned by Chinese internet company ByteDance, the app reached 1 billion downloads faster than any previous social media product. Its success stems from its stickiness. The algorithm underlying its recommendation engine delivers a carousel of riveting user content to keep people staring at their screens. TikTok has become so popular, used by 150 million Americans according to the company. I don't believe that, by the way. The Silicon Valley rivals are trying to mimic it, and politicians are stoking fears that it could be used as a disinformation tool by the Chinese government. In March, the Biden admin threatened to ban the app, something the Trump administration also threatened to do if ByteDance doesn't sell its stake. As the political debate carries on, researchers and child psychologists are watching with increasing alarm. Surveys of teens have revealed a correlation between social media and depression, self-harm, and suicide. The CDC shows nearly 1 in 4 teens say they'd considered harming them, taking their own lives, double the level of a decade earlier. We know what's happening. We know what's causing it. At a congressional hearing in March, a rep brought up Nazca's death, showing TikTok chief executive officer Xiao Chu some of the clips the app had sent the boy and asking if Chu would let his own children watch such content. That same month, Nazca's parents filed a wrongful death lawsuit in New York State court against TikTok, ByteDance, and the railroad. I don't see how you blame the railroad, to be honest. It's tough. The kid made that choice. I think you can blame TikTok, however. They say they can't comment on pending litigation, but a spokeswoman, Jamie Favaza, says the company is committed to the safety and well-being of its users, especially teens. Our hearts break for any family that experiences a tragic loss. We strive to provide a positive and an enriching experience and will continue our significant investment in safeguarding our platform. TikTok's original recommendation algorithm was designed by a team of engineers in China. But while the app was made in China, it's used most everywhere except China. It can't even be downloaded in the homeland. TikTok says its algorithm is now maintained by engineers around the world, but let's just make it clear. It's a weapon. And they know. If you ever played the video game Civilization, you'd understand. You can get what's called a cultural victory. If you can spread your nation's culture, you can actually take over cities without firing a single shot. It's actually one of the most fun ways to play, in my opinion. Build up an army and then export culture to all these other cities. And then eventually that city votes to join your country. I don't know if we're heading in that direction. I think we're heading in a direction where the younger generation will be manipulated and suffer a brain rot. That's why we see personalities like Dylan Mulvaney, who is not trans. Dylan Mulvaney singing about having a bulge shows it's not gender dysphoria. It's some kind of algorithmic promotional manipulation. A narcissist so desperate for fame, being propped up, given that fame, and then encouraging children to take drugs. Dylan Mulvaney has encouraged children to drink alcohol and to take body modifying drugs. It's on TikTok. It's there. It's not healthy, and it's not good. And it will crumble the basic foundation of this nation. Because the younger generation may already have been broken by this. Now they're entering voting age. When the older generation dies, because that's what happens, retire and stop voting, the younger generation will be split between those who are resilient to these attacks and those who aren't. That's what I believe we are seeing in the culture war. I believe give it 10 more years of this track, and the far left will be very, very prominent and violence will ensue. However, there's one way out of this. Well, there's a couple ways. One, we should ban TikTok, but also have kids. If y'all have a whole bunch of kids, in 18 years, those kids be voting. And if you teach them right, keep them out of the public schools, keep them off these platforms, they'll be voting for the right thing. And the future of this country will be preserved simply by you having children. The challenge we face right now is that many kids are being indoctrinated by our adversaries. And that's what this is. And that's why this kid took his life. At least in my view, I think this contributed to it. What will TikTok do about it? Defend themselves. Defend themselves in litigation and everything in their power to make sure that you can't stop them and you can't figure out what it is they're doing. But as parents ignore what their kids are watching on these apps and these platforms, it's only going to get worse. Maybe we ban social media for anyone under 18. Say you're not allowed to use it. You're not allowed to go to a bar. Maybe that's the path forward. I don't have the answers, but this is serious stuff. I'll leave it there. Next segment's coming up at 8 p.m. at youtube.com/TimcastIRL. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you all then.